How you guys doing today? Today's video is going to be about seed starting your vegetable plants and what you're going to need to do that, when you should get started, and why I think it's important. For me, number one reason with starting your own seeds rather than buying your plants from the nursery, you got way bigger selection. I mean, you go to your local nursery or greenhouse, I mean, they're going to have quite a few different tomato plants and stuff, but you get online or you look at the seed catalogs, I mean, you're going to have tons of varieties. Um, and you got choice between your hybrids and your heirloom varieties, which your heirloom varieties are the ones that you can actually save your seeds and plant them next year. But anyway, um, to get started, of course, here in Kentucky, we're in zone 6B. So, I mean, you guys could be anywhere from up in Michigan or down to Florida or wherever. So your weather's a little bit different than ours, but really what you need to know before you make a good plan when to start your seeds is going to be when is your last expected frost date. Now, it's not a written in stone concrete number. Typically here in Kentucky, it's around Derby weekend, Kentucky Derby, which is the first Saturday in May. But I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, I planted that weekend, and then the following weekend, or it might have been that one, we actually had a late frost. It got down into the 20s, and I knew it was coming, so I had to hurry up and do a makeshift thing to cover up our plants, and some of them still got a little frost damage, but most of them made it. But that's important to think about. So whatever plants you're starting, whether it be pepper, tomatoes, whatever it may be, you kind of want to time it right. You don't want to start your seeds too early, because then you're going to have to end up potting them into a bigger container, take them out of your seed starting trays and have to have a place to store those until you're able to plant. So um, here, I pretty much like to start, for example, my tomato plants about 8 weeks before our last frost date. So probably about the 1st of March, I'll get those going. Maybe a little bit later, maybe 6 weeks, because they grow a little quicker. Pepper plants do take longer to germinate, and but that's, you really need to keep that in mind. Your last expected frost date in your area to get started. But now I'm just going to show you what you'll need, or what I use to start seeds. And I do start them out here in the garage. So it is cold out here, in the wintertime, late winter before springtime, but it is insulated, so it's not too bad. But I'm going to show y'all everything you're going to need to get started. So obviously, you're going to be starting seeds in some type of container. So you need to get some kind of seed starting trays like this. It doesn't matter what kind. I ordered these on Amazon, and I'll post a link to everything in the description below. But I picked these up for a pretty good price. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's 5 trays, and it's, I think, 40 cells per tray. Like Jack, be quiet over there. Dog's making noise. Anyway, so you got these trays here. That's what your soil mixture and vermiculite, which I'll show you in a minute. That's what this goes in. And then you got the bottom tray that, so these have holes in the bottom so they can drain. But also, what I like to do, I don't like to water from the top. I like to water from the bottom. So I'll put, after the initial watering on top to get everything moist, I like to put water in here, not all the way up, obviously, but just enough that the soil can wick it up in there, and it doesn't stay waterlogged. Also, you got these humidity domes that you place on top of each one, so that kind of keeps the moisture in there, kind of, just keeps it as warm as possible for germination. Next, you're gonna have to get you some good grow light. So you need a full spectrum. You can't just use any kind of light. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description below to what I've got here. These also came from Amazon. These are basically just the LED grow light. They don't use much power. But you are gonna have them on for quite a few hours each day. And something else that's important to get your seeds to germinate quickly are these heat mats. So these are going to go underneath the trays. So trays go on there like that, and it'll heat up from the bottom. They don't get terribly hot, just warm enough to provide good heat source for proper germination. I'll also put a link for these, and also one mistake a lot of people make for their seed starting mix is they just use potting soil. You don't want potting soil. You want a legitimate seed starting mix. So again, it doesn't matter what kind you buy. This is a good brand, Burpee. I think everybody that grows a garden, they've heard of them. So that's my mix there, my soil mix. And then I like to mix in some vermiculite. It helps with seed starting in that it retains moisture. It doesn't allow your seed starting mix to get, waterlogged and stay that way. So that's really all you need to get started. So once you get everything where it's, germination, or even before, like you don't want your soil to be too wet, because it's too wet, never has a chance to kind of dry out a little bit. I mean, you don't want it to get dried out. You don't want it to be soggy, because your seeds can end up rotting. And even when they germinate, you start getting roots on them. Like, you can get some rot, and you don't want your hard work to go to waste. Another tip: I save these containers from when I have bought plants at the greenhouse, flowers, vegetable plants, whatever. Like I was saying earlier about up potting, when your plants do get bigger. Last year I up potted most of them, I think, at first, and then I didn't have to after that, because it was good temperature to plant. But I did save these right here. So if you need to up pot, at that point you can use potting soil. So if you're in a predicament and say it's going to be too wet to plant outside, or you still got a risk of frost, you can always up pot your plants into these. You know, keep them in here just like you would at a greenhouse or a nursery until you're ready to plant. But I don't know. I think I was saying at the beginning of this, maybe I didn't, but there's a lot of reasons why people might choose to start their own seeds. It does save money, especially if you get the heirloom variety of whatever you're planting, because at the end of the growing season, you can save some of that fruit, such as tomato, pepper. Those are two of my favorites to grow. Save them seeds, you don't have to buy them again. And it is abundantly cheaper to buy a pack of seeds versus a tray of plants. Just it costs more to do that. But for me, I do like to save the money, but really, at the end of the day, I like the aspect of just the variety, especially the peppers. Peppers are by far my favorite plant to grow. This year, I'm trying a new jalapeno. I think I showed on the short that I posted yesterday. It's supposed to be a jumbo, because I like to stuff jalapenos as well as can them, but it seems like your regular run-of-the-mill jalapenos are a little small, in my opinion. But as far as tomato plants go, it's, I think, probably one of the most popular vegetables to grow for most people. And so if you get online and look at the seed catalogs or the websites, I mean, it'll blow your mind how many varieties that they have, not just their hybrids, but your old heirloom varieties, which in my opinion are better. So, to save money, variety, and if you get the heirloom, just save them seeds, and kind of you make an upfront investment in the seeds, and then you don't have to not to do it again. And then after you get your lights and your heat mats and all that, you're good to go. But I think it's about it. Like I said, everything, the heat mats, the seat starting trays, and the lights. I'll put a link in the description of this video down below. But it doesn't matter what kind you buy. You can go to Rural King, Tractor Supply, I guess Home Depot, Walmart, buy your seed starting trays, your soil mix, vermiculite. Now the lights, I don't know. I think Rural King has them because I know I got a big one on over here using for a light right now. But just wherever you buy them is fine. It don't matter. But I hope you guys get something out of this. And if you have never started your plants from seeds, I highly recommend it. I did it last year for the first time on a bigger scale. I enjoy it. I enjoy growing from seed to plant to, all of it. And I think y'all should try it too. As always, appreciate you watching. See y'all next time.